Are your loved ones in spirit sending you signs? In this video, I'm sharing why spirit sends signs, common signs from spirit, and how to create your own signs to communicate with your past loved ones. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell. That way you'll be notified every time I post a new video about all things mediumship, including how-tos about communicating with spirit and videos of my recordings so you can see me in action. I was extremely skeptical when I first started receiving what I thought might be signs from spirit. Through countless readings, I've been able to validate signs that spirit has sent, and I'm excited to share with you a few of my favorites. So the first question that might be on your mind is, why does spirit send signs? There's a couple reasons, and they're pretty simple. Number one, they want to let you know that they're okay. A lot of people who are grieving and have lost a loved one need to know that those people still exist in some form and that they are okay. Number two, our past loved ones in spirit want us to be on what you might call our highest path. They want to help us. They want us to enjoy our lives and make choices that align with what we chose long ago before we even came here to live this lifetime. Number three, they want to let you know that they're present with you and watching over you. Let's talk about the most common signs from spirit. A lot of people report seeing ladybugs, dragonflies, birds. I get cardinals and blue jays most of the time in readings that are extremely significant to my sitter, not just like, oh, I saw a cardinal one day. Now, some mediums say that all of these creatures are creatures who navigate the planet using the electromagnetic field, and therefore they're easy to interfere with. Coins are another common sign from spirit. A lot of times during readings, I'll talk about pennies and have an instant validation of something quite significant with a sitter. Electronic interferences of different kinds, maybe a radio gets turned on or a TV gets turned on or off. Suddenly something happens with your computer that's quite strange, with your phone that's quite strange. I'll tell you a story about my phone shortly. Lights flickering is a really constant thing. You have an electrician out to the house and nothing's wrong. Songs are a way that we hear signs. Maybe there was a song that was associated with a loved one that was really important to you, or maybe it's the lyrics from a song that seem uncanny, just how obvious they are in the moment to be just for you from your loved ones in spirit. Numbers are another one I absolutely love, especially repeating numbers. 1111 is common, 444, 333, 555, 222. And feathers. Feathers happen to be a sign that I also get a lot of times as validation during a reading. I could tell you countless stories from each of those common signs that I just named off for myself personally in seeing signs, but also for so many of my clients that I've done readings for. I really tend to feel that these signs mean different things to different people. A snake could mean something really dangerous to one person and something really wonderful to someone else who has a love for reptiles. It really depends upon the moment that you see the sign, what your current circumstances are, and what is brought to mind for you. Is it associated with a person? Is it something that really gives you hope for the current challenge that you're going through? Did you ask for this sign for a validation about a choice that you want to make? No one sign means the same thing because we all have different life experiences. So it's important to, when you see a sign, to call to mind what this might mean for you due to your circumstances, and perhaps it is significantly associated with a past loved one of yours and obvious why it might be sent. What signs have you received from spirit? Comment below. Or if you don't feel like you've received signs or you're not aware of them, what sign would you love to ask for? Go ahead and share. Now, I do want to talk a little bit more about some specific signs. One of those is just sensing their presence. If you've ever been sitting somewhere and all of a sudden felt that this person who is a past loved one of yours comes to mind strongly, and you even start to feel maybe their presence is with you, that's a really strong, really specific sign that I would trust. Another way that you can receive a sign that might be more specific to a loved one is through scent. My paternal grandmother hangs around quite often, and one way that I know she's present is the smell of cigarette smoke. Sometimes I smell this objectively outside my body, especially in a place where I know there is no cigarette smoke, like in my home. Sometimes I might smell this subjectively. It's more in my thoughts and just be aware of cigarette smoke. This is a way that I definitely know that she's near. It could also be perfumes or some other smell that was associated, maybe baking or pastries if you had somebody who was a great baker or a great cook. Another really powerful way that spirit shows up is in dream visitations. Now, I've had this come through a lot of times in readings where I will sense and hear that I need to talk about a dream visitation that my sitter recently had, and they're able to validate, yes, they came to me in a dream, I felt their embrace, or they said, I love you, or maybe they were just there giving some kind of comfort without saying anything at all. Now, the great thing about signs is that you don't need to hire a medium to receive signs from your loved ones in spirit and to start developing your own way of communicating with them. I really like to talk to my clients about empowering themselves to go ahead and start asking for signs and being able to communicate on their own, and let them know that sitting with me is sometimes just a great way of jump-starting their relationship with their loved one now that their loved one is passed. But that's not the only time to ask for signs. When I first came into my abilities and my gifts, and I was just discovering them, I read a book that encouraged me to ask for signs in order to validate that what I was experiencing was actually real, because it was a very scary time for me where I had a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, and frankly, I was worried that I was losing my mind. After one of the first visitations that I ever thought I might be receiving, I shared the information with the living loved one from the past loved one who had visited me, and she validated that this was indeed accurate. When I got back into my car, I was shaking and sweaty, and I felt like I needed even more validation. And so I was reminded to ask for a sign that was specific and to make it something quite obvious that would not usually come into my path. A hippo is what came to mind. I don't think I've ever seen a hippo in real life. I knew that it was important to stay open to seeing that hippo in whatever way I might, but in no daily activities did I see pictures of a hippo, had I experienced anything about a hippo. And so I thought, let's see. And I actually felt quite doubtful. I also knew it was going to be important for me to be patient and maybe not see it right away, but in the very near future. That night, I was reading my daughter some books before putting her to bed. She was about 18 months old, so she couldn't speak very well. She'd brought me a few books that I'd read through, and finally she brought me a picture book. And I looked at her and told her, there's no words in this book, it's just a picture book. Why don't you go ahead and flip through it on your own? And she pointed at the book and made a lot of grunts and noises, and clearly was indicating to me that she wanted me to point to every single picture and tell her exactly what it was. I opened up the book, and it was a book of 100 animals, and what do you know? I turned the page, and there was a gigantic picture of a hippo with a very toothy grin smiling back at me. I think I really exclaimed something that probably wasn't for children's ears. It was a moment where inside it felt indisputable, like, wow, I can't believe this is real. Even telling the story, I understand how bizarre it could sound that this is just making meaning out of nothing. But a lot of times when we receive a sign, we do have something brought to mind. We do feel the realness of the moment, and I definitely did when I saw that hippo. If you're skeptical, that's great. Go ahead and give it a try yourself. You might be surprised what happens. Ask for something that feels indisputably recognizable when you receive that sign. Ask for something you don't see every day. Stay open to the form that this sign comes in and the timing. Some signs come immediately, but other times maybe it's 3 or 4 days, maybe it's up to 2 weeks. Some of my favorite signs. When I was coming into my gifts, I read a lot of books that constantly pointed out that ladybugs are often something that spirit can interfere with. I started seeing ladybugs everywhere. They were all over my daughter's books. It's often when I'm contemplating something about my mediumship or a reading that I had, inevitably I walk and I find ladybugs crawling on the pavement where I'm walking. I'm definitely a numerology girl. I love receiving signs through numbers and repeating numbers. 2 of my favorites are 1111. That's a really common one to experience. And also I love 1112, which I take to mean a lot of times that the challenges I'm going through are there for growth, and they will be ending soon, and I'll be on a new level of growth and having a new experience. For 1111, there's a lot of different interpretations. Some of them are you're on the right path. Some of them are about new beginnings. Sometimes people say it means get to work creating the things that you want. Again, I think a lot of these numbers can be subjective, especially when it comes to taking a look at your current circumstances. One of my all-time favorite signs is a rainbow sign that comes on my phone, often on demand, when I go into the calendar app of my phone. Now, I've had my phone for 5 years. Never did it do any kind of strange technological things until the very day that I had my most important reading as a medium. The first one that really validated that what I was hearing, sensing, feeling, and knowing was real. I want to show you what happens on my phone. I'm going to see if Spirit was willing to do this on demand. Here's my phone. I'm going to go ahead and open up the calendar app and just see if Spirit will start to do this on demand. Come on, Spirit. Excellent. And it just goes on and on and on. It usually does this when I talk about this or I ask them to show it. It just starts growing. If I were to click on all of these rainbows, it just says error generating entry. Wild. Had this phone for a while, never did it before. Happened the day of my most important reading that gave me the wildest validation of all time and made me decide this was going to be my life's work. If you're interested in receiving more signs from Spirit, or if you want to strengthen your clairs so that you can speak to Spirit, a great place to start is with my free guide and guided meditations that you can download below. Be sure to check out this video next. You can watch me in action and see the moments when I validate signs for my sitters. If you like this video, give me a like. Don't forget to comment below. I'd love to hear what was most helpful for you. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified the next time I post a new video about all things Spirit.